Competent women aren't overlooked by accident. They're kept there on purpose. Because a woman who doesn't know she's being undervalued is the cheapest and most productive employee there is. There's a woman I want you to think about right now. You probably know her. Maybe you are her. She's the most capable person in the room. She does the work nobody else finishes. She solves the problems nobody else sees coming. And she has watched again and again as men who couldn't do half of what she does get promoted over her. She's not imagining it. She's right. But here's what nobody told her, and what took me 40 years to understand. It was never about the work. I'm Margaret. I'm 73 years old. I've built 4 companies. I've been divorced for 41 years. I raised 2 children mostly alone, and every single day of my professional life, I dressed entirely in green. Because money was the only language certain people in certain rooms ever took seriously. I made my first million before my ex-husband figured out I'd stopped asking for his opinion. And I want to tell you something today that is going to be uncomfortable. Not because I want to upset you. Because I spent years being upset at the wrong thing. And it cost me. 1984, Boston. I was 34 years old. I had built, from scratch, the analysis that won our firm the largest client account in its 10-year history. The model, the narrative, the full presentation deck. I built all of it. My name was not on the cover. My manager's name was. He walked in, shook the client's hand, presented the work, collected the commission. 6 months later, he got the promotion. I got a handwritten note. Invaluable contribution. I kept it. I still don't know exactly why. Maybe I thought I'd need evidence of something someday. Now, I could tell you that story and make it about him, about what he did. But that's not why I'm telling it. I'm telling it because of the question I didn't ask myself for 2 more years after that day. Not why he took the credit. I knew why. Men have always been excellent at receiving. The question was, why did I hand it to him so completely, so willingly, so thoroughly, that there was nothing left with my name on it? I want you to sit with 3 questions. I'm not going to answer them yet. But I want them in your mind while we talk. Think about the last meeting you sat in. Not sat in. How many times did you wait to be called on? How many times did you already know the answer before the man 3 seats down said it incorrectly and got 2 people nodding? Second question. And how many times have you softened something before you said it? Added, I might be wrong, but, or maybe this is just me, to something you were completely certain about. And the third one, the hard one. When is the last time you took up space in a room without earning it first? Hold those. We're coming back to them. 1986, strategy session. I'm 2 years deeper into that same firm, and I hear myself say, quietly, helpfully, I think what David is trying to say is, David nodded. David was grateful. David was also the least strategically capable person in that building. And in that moment, something shifted. I thought, I wasn't overlooked. I behaved in a way that guaranteed it. I'll say that again because it deserves the space. I wasn't overlooked. I behaved in a way that guaranteed it. That sentence changed my life. Not because it felt good, it didn't. It felt like being handed a mirror you weren't ready for. Here's what I know now. Competent women are not failing to perform. They're performing exactly as they were trained to perform. The problem is the training. The training was designed to make you reliable, not visible. And those are not the same thing. They are not even related things. Reliable means the work gets done. Visible means people associate the work with you. You can be the most reliable person in the organization and be completely invisible at the same time. In fact, that's usually exactly what happens. Go back. Go back to when you were 7, 8, 9 years old. What were you taught? Be helpful. Be precise. Don't brag. Wait your turn. Raise your hand. Finish your work before you speak. Be sure before you claim anything. Girls were taught that competence was a prerequisite for recognition. You had to earn the right to be seen. Boys were taught something completely different. They were taught that recognition is just somewhere you walk toward. I watched my own son, 12 years old, walk into a room full of adults at a company picnic and announce with total confidence and zero evidence that he knew how to fix the sound system. He had no idea how to fix the sound system. 3 grown men followed him over to watch. Men are taught to take space. Women are taught to deserve it first. And the rules are not symmetrical. The amount of deserving required of a woman to access the same space has never been equal. It has always been more. Which means, if you're playing by the rules you were given, you will always be preparing to enter a room that men walked into an hour ago. I left that firm in 1987, started my first company with $11,000 and a client I'd poached. I'm not ashamed of that. But I carried one mistake with me when I left, and it took me years to name it. I had made myself indispensable. And indispensable, I learned, is the most elegant trap a competent woman can walk into. When you are indispensable, people need you exactly where you are. They don't promote you. They can't afford to. You are too valuable doing the thing you're already doing. You become, in the most flattering possible language, irreplaceable. And irreplaceable is another word for stuck. When I started over, I made one conscious decision. I stopped softening my voice, literally. I had this habit, I notice it in women constantly, of ending declarative sentences with a slight upward inflection, like a question. Like I was checking whether it was okay for me to have said what I just said. The quarterly numbers are strong. That upward tilt, that tiny request for permission. I stopped. The first time I stated something flat. No apology, no I might be wrong, no softening. The room paused. One man looked up. Not because what I'd said was extraordinary, because the way I said it told him it wasn't going to be questioned. That pause was power. It had been available to me for years. I just hadn't taken it. And here's the framework, the one I wish someone had handed me at 30. There are 2 entirely different games being played in every organization. Most women only know the rules to one of them. The first game is competence. What you can do, how well you do it, how consistently, how thoroughly, how brilliantly. The second game is perceived leadership. What others believe you will do next. Where they imagine you in 6 months. Whether they picture you in the room when the next big decision gets made. Organizations do not promote competence. They promote perceived leadership. This is not a conspiracy. It's not always even bias, though bias is real and I won't pretend otherwise. It's simply how institutions work. They look for people who appear to already be operating at the next level. And appearing to operate at the next level requires visibility, self-association with outcomes, and a certain audacity that most women have been trained since childhood to consider impolite. The second mistake, and this one is quieter, harder to see. I waited. I was excellent at waiting. I waited for the quality of my work to speak on its own behalf. I assumed that if I kept producing, kept delivering, kept being right, eventually someone in authority would notice, would say something, would act on it. I watched men around me, men with thinner files and louder voices, position themselves for roles they weren't qualified for yet. I thought they were being reckless. I thought I was being professional. I was not being professional. I was being invisible. There is a difference between patience and abdication. I confused them for the better part of a decade. Let me get specific, because this is where it gets uncomfortable. When you solve a problem someone else brought to you, quietly, thoroughly, completely, ostentatious, and hand it back, you just made their problem disappear, and your competence disappear with it. When you explain your reasoning in a meeting step by step so everyone understands, you're teaching, not leading. Teachers are valued. Teachers are also left in the classroom. When you help a colleague look good in front of senior leadership because it was the right thing to do and you genuinely didn't mind, you have just made a deposit into a bank account with someone else's name on it. None of this is your fault, and all of it is your problem. What nobody told us about power, and I mean nobody, not our mothers, not our schools, not the first women who broke through before us, is that power is not given to the most capable. It is given to the most present, and present doesn't mean physically in the room. It means consistently associated in other people's minds with outcomes. It means when something goes well, your name comes up. Not because you pushed your name forward, because you were visible at the moment the thing went well. Power is a perception game being played on top of a competence game. And most women were only taught the rules of the second one. That's the answer to the 3 questions I asked you at the start. The waiting to be called on, the softening, the earning before entering. Each one of those behaviors is a choice, a trained, internalized, completely understandable choice to play only one of the 2 games. The game you were told was the whole thing. I am 73 years old. I have run businesses, fired men who condescended to me, and written checks that changed the direction of other women's lives. I wear green every day because I decided in 1989 that I was done being forgettable in any room. I am still not done. But before I go, I want to leave you with 2 questions. Not to answer to me, not for the comments, for yourself. Tonight, when you're alone and the screen is off. The first one, if you had to describe the last time someone else received credit for your competence, how long would that story take to tell? How many details come up without even trying? And the harder one, if you're being honest with yourself, not the version of yourself that is tired of the question, not the version that wants to blame the room, what would you have had to do differently to prevent it? I'm not asking you to answer me. I'm asking you to sit with it long enough to be uncomfortable. That discomfort is the beginning of something.